This is the year of consciousness, as I talked about in Pronost. It's every year is the year of consciousness, actually. But it sounds good. It's a nice title. This is the year of consciousness, but so was last year. But this is really the year of consciousness. Well, actually, it is, because last year was year of consciousness, and then there was some consciousness, so this year this is the year of super consciousness. Quantum super high octane consciousness. And it is. Why? Why? Because A, I said so, and because you said so. And you know, this is a beautiful thing to understand. Wherever you put your consciousness, reality is created. Where there was where nothing existed before, suddenly reality comes because consciousness is there. So if one says, yeah, this is a year of consciousness, then it is. You see, it's that simple. It's that simple. If you say, this is a year for my breakthrough, then it is. It's where you put your consciousness, your awareness. Suddenly, if I'm talking here, I said, yeah, I'm going to leave if you don't have a breakthrough, or you're going to leave, and then I have nobody to talk to. And you see what I'm doing is I'm putting consciousness there. There was a void, kind of, and we just filled it. And now we just dive into it and enjoy it, love it. So when I say it's the year of consciousness, well, maybe it wasn't 10 minutes ago, but it's going to be now, because consciousness is there. You can take an absolute void, a nothing, a space of nothing, not even a space. You put consciousness in there, and it comes to life. How do you think Earth was created? Do you think little butterflies came here from the angelic families and sprinkled their little butterfly dust? Well, kind of, a little bit. They had some help from the unicorns, of course. And no, what happened is, it's like, wow, we need a place that's real different than any other place we've been. We need a place where we can really act out in a really bizarre, odd, strange, screwed up manner. So let's all put our consciousness in this weird place. And there wasn't a weird place before that, and suddenly, weird place happens. It's called Earth, and in the universe. And suddenly, it came to be. Didn't take any energy. Didn't take any energy. Didn't take any power. It didn't take legions of angels. It didn't take God. Nah, it just took a couple of us hanging around and saying, you know, let's go on a discovery journey. Let's just put our consciousness in planet weird and then let it happen. And it's amazing. Consciousness, poof, suddenly created a universe just like that. It was actually 6 days, and I took the 7th off. And guess what? So did you. So did you. We just, let's rest on this day. Yeah. Just trying to see who's awake, who's not. So we put the consciousness, and then we backed off. And that's partly where humans, you get in trouble. So you put your consciousness somewhere, and suddenly, without energy, without power, it's just awareness. That's all. Just like, oh yeah, weird planet. Awareness, consciousness is there, and then it starts flourishing. That's when you back away. That's a good creator creates, and then frees the creation. Why? Because then it continues to expand. It continues to be the ultimate expression of the Creator in a way that the Creator might not have been able to imagine on their own. You create something, it's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, creating is beautiful. You create something like Planet Weird, and then you back away. And you watch as your own creator energies continue to expand, continue to express back to you, the creator, in ways that are unlimited, in ways that maybe you couldn't have even imagined. Imagination and creativity, they're kind of together, are such that they keep expanding. Yeah. Creativity isn't singular. It's not like you create a painting and that's it. It hangs on the wall. I mean, one would think so, but no, it continues to expand multidimensionally. That's why some of the great masters could actually paint in people into the paintings, trap them in there. That trap their, it's not their soul, but what they think was their soul, their energetic composition. And that painting, it keeps expanding and expressing. I don't want to get into it now, but some of the world's greatest black magic has been performed in paintings and a little in music. Oh, so easy, so easy. Some people think they have to do these curses or things like that and try to inflict. I'll do that again for the camera. Thank you. Yeah. This is your Ascended Master giving you the thumbs up. Okay, now for a bite. So she brought me this. Did you have anything to do with the tuna fish sandwich, Sandra?
No, it's been.
Oh, then I'll safe eating it. Anybody want a bite? Pass it around, but I'm going to save this for me. Those of you watching, and just bear with me while I eat.
No, thanks. Love you, but no.
Okay, where were we? Great black magic with paintings. Now, don't go running home tonight to start painting your mother-in-law or your ex-wife in there. I know you, Shambra. I love you, but I know you. So the fact is, wherever you, a creator, which you are, by the way. Remember that? We're creators. Yeah, you've forgotten it. But a creator creates something, anything, no matter what it is, and is blessed and loves. It's good to admire your own creations. Stop the humble act, when you create something that's really good. It's, damn right it's good. Think about me. God damn right it's good. Yeah. And then back away. That creation will continue expanding and creating multidimensionally and whatever else, but it doesn't stop because it's your little baby. It's your creation. Watch that. That tuna jumps still right out of the sandwich onto your lap. The creation wants to continue to express back to the creator, you, its joy, its limitlessness. It wants to continue expressing back its grace and its fullness. So it will continue growing or expanding, whatever you want to call it. It's an amazing thing about creation. It has a lot of implications when you stop for a moment and to feel into that. Everything you do is basically a creation. Whether it's created under hypnosis, in other words, old programming, it's still a creation. And it will still continue expressing back to you. Continue to grow. Now, let's bring consciousness into the equation, which generally it hasn't been. So suddenly you're a conscious creator. What does that mean? It means you're not just stumbling through your day, trying to get to the end of the day, because we're reversing it now anyway. The end of the day is going to happen before the beginning of the day. So instead of just stumbling through the day, going through the motions, trying to get to the end of the day, suddenly you become conscious. You become aware. You're in a day. I mean, it seems simple, but most people don't realize that today is a day. And quantum allowing, I asked everyone to start their morning before they even get out of bed with I exist. It's really one of the greatest things you could do for yourself. I exist. Before those feet hit the floor. Sounds good, right? I exist. You come into that knowingness and that clarity. Ah, wow, I'm a creator. I'm here. Sounds really simple, right? Yeah. And then you'll do it once and you forget. Yep. Yep. Why is that? Well, that's a whole nother shout, but well, I wonder sometimes. It's so easy. You realize how much time and energy and consciousness you spend on your problems. Out of, let's say, average 16 hours of waking each day, how much time do you think in consciousness and energy is spent on your problems? 16. Sart 16. Yeah, I'll give yourself more credit. 15 and a half. No, actually I would say realistically, about 60, 70% of the time, humans will spend their energy on problems. So why is it when I say start the day out with the simple, I exist? Not I exist, but I exist. And feel into it, that realization that you exist. I mean, that's the good news, isn't it? Maybe February 14th next year is not such a good... So how difficult it is to start your day with a simple I exist and feel it. It will absolutely change your perspective. Instead of spending 70% of your time on problems, time and consciousness, it'll start going down to 50, 40, 30, 20. You'll hover at about 15 or 20% of the time still going to problems. Not because you can't get rid of them, you don't want to get rid of them. No. Because, you get down to that low percent, 15% of your time, energy, consciousness on problems. It's kind of fun, actually. Yeah, it is. It's like, I'm just going to hang on to it. It's kind of like, it's like a little self-abuse time each day. It's a little flagellation. It's like, but it's kind of fun. And then you could still relate to other people, and then you could tell yourself how good you are that you can get out of it. So you'll hang on to about 15%. And no, that's good. That's fun. And it's such a change versus 70% of the time, energy, and consciousness going to problems. Have you ever stopped for a moment? I have to answer my own question before I continue. No. Have you ever just stopped for a moment and said to yourself, these problems, they just keep happening over and over again? Duh. Same problem, actually. Same problem. How many lifetimes? Same stinking problem? Same person, same, I mean, we can talk openly, right?
Maybe.
This side of the room is okay, so. But let's say we're talking about other people, not you, of course. But don't they ever stop and say, well, these problems never end. These problems just keep going. People that I know, I'm watching on, I'm not looking at anybody, but they've been married 5, 6 times. And you complain about it? I mean, I can understand you doing it just because you like the experience, but you complain about it then? And the problem is then I hear them talking in their mind, and they can't even remember the names of their exes. I mean, if I really force them, but to them it's just one great big complaint. It was one great big bad relationship. And some of them don't even realize. They wake up in the morning, who's she? Oh, it's my 4th. Oh, okay. the amount of time and energy, hi dear, the amount of time and energy that goes to problems. Well, you could change it like that, with consciousness, So I want you to now look at yourselves. How much of can you just give me an I exist first thing in the morning before you get out of bed? Yeah. You say that, but can you just give it to yourself, the I exist, before you get out of bed? It's not a magic formula. It's a realization. It's consciousness. I exist. Boom. Basic consciousness trumps everything else. If you can wake up in the morning consciously, rather than the way you're doing it, it will absolutely change the day. You don't have to do anything besides that. You don't have to say it for 20 minutes. You don't have to do anything else. Just wake up in the morning and feel it. I exist. And then get up and go about your day. But observe how your day is lining up very, very different. You're lining up different. The year of consciousness is a year of awareness. The awareness of your day, the awareness of the awareness. Consciousness is not a power nor an energy. It's simply awareness. And it's interesting because one would argue that, well, humans must be aware. They have to be able to drive a car and write their name and remember their social security number. And, well, that's not awareness. That's all memorization. There's little or no awareness in there. They don't write their name with awareness. They just write their name. It's like, duh, just, it's rote. They do it over and over. This is the year of consciousness for you. It's a year of awareness. It's so simple. You don't really actually have to work on it. You just have to be aware of it. Changes everything. It's going to change the planet. Absolutely change the planet. As awareness comes more and more, and as we talked about in Pronos, there's going to be some who absolutely fight it. They don't want it. They don't want awareness, actually. Why would that be? Why would one not want awareness? Power, change, fear. Fear with awareness comes, well, awareness. It comes realization, comes knowingness. And maybe there's a lot who don't want that, who fear it. What happens if I have to look at myself and I don't like what I see? I have an interesting question, and Linda, I think it's time for the microphone here. An interesting question for you. On a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the highest number, of course, and 1 being the lowest, where's human consciousness on a scale of 1 to 100? Just curious to see. Not your consciousness, but the planet's consciousness. 1 to 100.
Okay, I'm going to go to an expert.
Where's consciousness? 1 to 100. Where would you peg it?
25.
Oh.
I have a number, and okay.
I
good.
don't know. I just got it.
Okay, good. Excellent. Where is consciousness? 1 to 100. Now, realize that humans have been on this planet for millions and millions of years.
10.
10, okay. We're going downhill quickly. 2. 2, geez, Pete. For Pete's sake.
Pete's sake.
Oh,
that is
Pete.
so funny.
Okay. 2, 10, 25. Do I hear?
5. Oh, she said 5.
5. Wow. I am leaving next year.
18.
18. Okay, we got hope coming back. Yeah, we got hope coming back. What's
30.
30? The eternal optimist here. Yeah. Good.
I'm going to go up to 35.
35. Wow. Wow. Do I hear a 40?
Okay, wait, here, tuna sandwich just for
Two-
me.
yeah.
40.
40.
That's what I thought.
40.
At-
Okay.
At first, yeah.
40. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. There's my answer, though.
40.
Thank you.
Couple
Anyone
more.
else want to
Couple
share?
more. So we're kind of between 2 and 40.
100 because we're already here now.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about humans out there. Not you think they're at 100? I am leaving.
Because
and I'm not waiting until next year.
we're
I'm
here
going
now.
right now.
We're going to the end now.
Yes.
3.
Oh, Pete, gosh, you increased by 50% in just 2 minutes. Amazing.
22.33.
22.33. Okay, that's good. You could, extrapolate that anymore? Point. Yeah. Okay, good. One more.
I first thought 24.
24. Okay, good. Interesting.
Oh, one last one. One last
One
one.
last one.
Let's just start. No, I'd say about 40.
About a 40. Okay. I'm surprised. That one of you didn't say it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. But if my number actually is 26, 26. We just kind of crossed over the quarter point of 25, and there is no official number in the other realms. But I take a measurement. I look at the true potential for embodied living on this planet, for consciousness. Before something super mega quantum happens, that planet kind of goes off somewhere else. But under the current conditions of the planet, about a 26. I don't know if that's good news or bad news. I guess it's good news because we have a lot of growth room. I guess you look at it from a perspective of all these millions of years. How much longer is it going to take to get to, let's say, 60? If it took millions of years to get to 26?
35 years.
35 more years
Yeah.
to get to 60. And without major disruption on the planet.
I didn't say that.
Okay. So I would give it about a 26. And in other words, to say that there's still a long way to go. But Linda is absolutely correct. It's not going to take millions.
What was that? Oh my God! Is that recorded? Can you play that for Jeff?
For once today, Linda is absolutely correct. Because, as I've said many times before, consciousness begets consciousness. It's kind of a snowball effect, and it just starts happening. So it's not going to take another 3 or 4 million years to get to 50. It could just be a matter of 10 years or 15 years. Kind of doesn't matter ultimately. But just to give you kind of a concept of consciousness is actually kind of low. It really is. And it wanes, it goes up and down. There's been points where it could have been 14 gone to 20, back down to 8. Consciousness kind of comes and goes, but right now it's got a full head of steam on, and with the embodied masters, with you in a very conscious human state, it's going to accelerate quickly. There's going to be problems because old systems simply won't be able to handle consciousness. And it's not necessarily about wars or anything like that, but old systems just won't be able to handle it. So it's going to mean people have to be very flexible, very adaptive. And I will make a point here sooner or later, but